What is up, everybody? Patrick Lerouge here from Evolve Restorative Therapy. I am your health consultant helping you out of pain. And the pain that we're going to be dealing with is back pain. And we're going to clear it up by stretching out the rotation of your back. But most people, do these dramatic stretches. We don't want to do that, right? We want to get you to a place where you're doing things back to the basics. And what we're going to do is use your breath. And everyone knows, if you don't know, here goes a big one. Your breath is king. It's the one that's going to help you push through. And I want to really use the word push very lightly, but it's going to help you get over that hurdle, that protective mechanism that the body naturally has. So first things first, we have to go with, what are we stretching? There's many different muscles of the back that we have to understand. Enter bony Mahoney. This is the front part of your body, right? There's muscles that run along the inside of the back that control the back, and there is a ton of muscles that run through the back called your metaphysis, and there's so many muscles that run through here. We're not talking about being able to flex or extend, or we're going to use the rotational aspect to get your body to learn how to rearrange how the spine works. So, with that said, we are not talking about rearranging your spine top to bottom like that, getting the flexion to work, because we could do that very well. What we're looking to do is get your spine to learn how to rotate again, one vertebrae at a time. And the way we're going to do it is, because we're going to use this lovely little band here, because your spine runs from the very, very top to the very, very bottom, and it's protected by all these muscles around it, and we all know about knots, and you all know about the adhesions that happen. There's going to be specific spots throughout the spine that's going to stop you, because we do all sorts of bending forward, and we do all these things that life comes, and we get these different pockets of energy that pops up. So what's going to happen is your body's going to twist in a certain different spot. It's going to twist, which is going to stop the flexibility from happening. And what happens is you stop being able to rotate properly the way that you're naturally supposed to do. So what we are going to do is we're going to use breath work in order to get you to move better. So we have this lovely balloon that's going to act like your spine. Your spine is very, very long and flat, like so, right? The spinal cord runs through your spine, but what happens is, like I showed you before, you get a knot, a muscle tissue that stops you from working. See that? It stops you from going. So you have your spine running through, but it now limits the range of motion. It allows things to go through, but it limits the range of motion. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin to start to rotate. And where most people feel stretches from the top to bottom, I want you on purpose, because we're going to be sitting, right, to do this activity. We're going to rotate. And notice I'm not throwing my shoulder. We're just going to rotate our spine. And then when we start to feel the sensation of tightness, we are going to breathe. And as we breathe, we're going to put pressure, and it's going to rearrange. So you're going to get your stretch based off of your breath. So what it looks like is you're going to sit down, and you're going to rotate your trunk so you're one area. Once you have that area of tightness, you're going to feel a slight stretch in your spine, and then you're going to do a belly breath. You want to get your breath as far down as possible, clearing out as far many areas, and when you hit that bind, it's going to want to start to push the pressure down, and it's going to actually start to rearrange how this area works. So you have this tightness, you're going to start taking a breath, and it's going to want to, see how, this is also an example of how a bulging disc would happen, is you create all this pressure, and then something bulges out. You see that? But we're not creating a bulging disc because we are not pushing very, very hard in this way. We're not going as far as we can, because then you can barely breathe in that point, and then because you barely breathe, it doesn't work. What we're looking for is a gentle opening and closing. Opening and closing. So this is not about holding a stretch for 60 seconds. You're not holding your breath for a very long time. This is natural. So you're going to now turn. Notice I'm not rolling my shoulder. It's a straight line. Turn. Once I feel the tension that's in my spine, throughout my belly, I'm going to just take a deep breath in as far as I can go and then blow out. And blow out. So you're going to come here. Each breath, I'm staying right where I am. I'm not trying to take a breath and go even further. Take a breath and go even further. Then you're going to do the other side. Here. And naturally, because I call these life patterns, is if you were driving before the early 2000s, right? Before those reverse cameras came in, you had a tendency to drive out and do a number like this as you drive. You're naturally always going to have more range of motion on this side because we happen to practice this rotation more. It's just funny that way. Left is always going to be slightly different, so don't be surprised if your right side goes smoother in that direction. So you're going to now grab it. Like that. Like, notice I was able to, like, Exorcist kind of feel, like, owl you. Like, you want to be able to hold, not to roll. You want to be able to have that rotation in your spine where your shoulder is in line with your elbow. Your head is in line with your shoulder. You know, so this range of motion here is almost off. Here, you see how I'm not arching the chest? I have relatively good range of motion through my spine. Now, this is where the trick is. When you first start, it's going to be really tight in your lower half. But once your lower half starts to go, you have to now contract your core. And then, because I'm not allowing my lower body to move anymore, I'm getting the stretch right underneath where the bra will go. This is a humongous area for women because they know about the bra and it attaches there and it locks this up anyway, as well as anybody that has like chronic, like low back pain that just is not bad, but it happens every now and then it comes back. You're missing the range of motion and the control through your T-spine, the lower half of your T-spine. So what you have to do is contract your core, get your core to turn on, see how hard that is, and then rearrange. Now you see how much less I have range of motion wise, and I'm having a hard time because I'm contracting my core, and I'm going to take a deep breath in. And then I heard a bunch of cracks on that one, but I felt the stretch all the way through my lat and inside of my rib cage in that way. So you want to get this to turn. So there, I was getting a lot more breath here, and it worked all the way down low, mainly because I had my core on. Now, hand positioning. You want to almost like be able to put your hands on the wall type of position so you don't have the urge, because so many people teach how to do them like this, and it's dynamic. It's very jarring to the system. We want to be nice and easy. So I can put my hand on the floor. If you can't put your hand on the floor, try to keep your hands straight. Here. Keep them right where they are. If you want to use a wall as guidance, here. Keep both hands right where you can see them. Over. So you're not trying to rearrange yourself. Be easy with this. Be kind with yourself. And this is a long-term game because we don't have the practice anymore doing a number like this. You know, when you're riding a bike as a kid, you used to have to rotate. We don't do things like that as adults anymore. So you have to now create the world. So I do it in my car. Even though I have my reverse camera and I do find myself getting lazy and just like, la, 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 I still have to scream at a kid. So whenever I scream at my kids, talk to my kids, I'm like, what are you doing? What's up? That's what I want you to do. The hardest one for the car is getting this way. I have to sit up in my car and I have to purposely take this elbow, this shoulder blade, and rub it against the back of my seat so I can turn. But there's a bar here that's always in the way. So you have to move your way up and then turn. That is my life pattern to make it basic, make it easy, something I can do all the time. If you guys enjoyed this video, please holla at me, tell me some more, tell me what's going on. If you need some extra help on different things, please, reach out to me as well. I love answering questions and teaching people what you need to do. Until next time, people, peace out.